In the next House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 7, Aemond will fly Vhagar and burn a village close to King's Landing that proclaims for Rhaenyra. Aemond will execute members of the Kingsguard. Aemond will also have a scene with Helaena where he uses her prophetic dreams to make war plans. Daeron Targaryen will fly his dragon Tessarion to accompany the Hightower host. Rhaenyra with Syrax will confront Addam and his dragon Seasmoke. Daemon will have a meeting with Oscar Tully and other riverlords during which he will execute Lord Blackwood for his crimes to gain the allegiance of the rivermen. Rhaenyra will meet with Corlys Velaryon and Driftmark and legitimize his bastard sons Addam and Alyn. Alicent will confront Aemond, and Alicent will attempt to drown herself. Rhaenyra will allow anyone and everyone who wishes to claim a dragon to try on Mysaria's advice, much to the disapproval of Jacaerys. Many will come to Dragonstone and give it a try, many will die. But eventually Rhaenyra will gain 2 more dragons to her side, Vermithor and Silverwing when Hugh and Ulf claim them. Tyland Lannister will meet with the Triarchy, where he wrestles with them but eventually gains their allegiance since they hate the Sea Snake and Daemon. Rhaena will claim Sheepstealer, and Daemon will survey the army he has gathered at Harrenhal. There's a lot going on in Episode 7, so let's get right into it, starting with Aemond. Aemond will hold a small council meeting with Larys, Ironrod, and the Grandmaster. Ironrod will say that Prince Daeron's dragon has taken to wing. The Hightower host will be unstoppable. Aemond will execute several incompetent members of the Kingsguard that Aegon appointed, who failed to protect his mother Alicent and sister Helaena from the food riots. Instead of protecting the royal family, they got beaten and embarrassed by the small folk, so Aemond executes them. Aemond will fly Vhagar and burn down a village with dragonfire after they proclaim for Rhaenyra. This will lead to a huge fight with Alicent, where he calls her too weak to lead, and that she would condemn all her children to death if she did rule. Aemond will ask her, "Would you not have us prevail?" To which Alicent will shout, "Not like this." In Episode 7, we will also learn that Aemond is the only one who has paid attention to Helaena, predicting the future and being a dreamer. Aemond will seek her counsel and he believes in what she is seeing, so he will enlist her help to win the war. Aemond and Helaena will have several scenes where Helaena sees visions about the war. One vision makes him correct course on his previous battle plan. Helaena will foresee Daemon planning to march on King's Landing with his newly formed army, so it will be Helaena who will lead Aemond to go to Harrenhal with Kristen later on to put a stop to Daemon. At the very beginning of Episode 7, Rhaenyra will fly with Syrax to Driftmark Beach to confront Addam and his dragon Seasmoke. Rhaenyra will say to Addam, "You stand with a dragon of House Targaryen. What do you want?" Rhaenyra doesn't know that Addam is a bastard son of her hand, Corlys Velaryon. Addam will pledge his service and loyalty as well as his dragon to Rhaenyra. Here you can see Addam in the bottom left later on having a dinner with Rhaenyra and other successful dragon seeds who claimed a dragon. After confronting Addam and Seasmoke at Driftmark Beach, Rhaenyra will go to meet Corlys since she's already there, and since his bastard son claimed the dragon. Rhaenyra visits the Sea Snake, where we hear Corlys say to her, "My ships sail at your command." Rhaenyra will legitimize Addam and Alyn, making Addam a dragon rider with a noble claim, while making Alyn the heir to Corlys and Driftmark. In the book, Corlys petitioned Rhaenyra to legitimize them both, and we know they will be legitimized on the show as well. Alyn here might be getting a declaration letter of his legitimacy and of him becoming Corlys' heir, the new heir to Driftmark, finally resolving a question which has been raised many times throughout Season 2 between multiple characters. We finally get the answer to who is Corlys' heir. Alyn becoming the new heir to Corlys was foreshadowed in Episode 3, when Rhaenys suggested he name Rhaena his heir, but Corlys laughed off the idea of naming his granddaughter Lord of the Tides. Corlys insisted another solution would present itself in time. In Episode 5, Corlys offered that position to his granddaughter Baela, but she refused, stating that she is fire and blood, and Driftmark must pass to Salt and Sea, which is exactly what Alyn is. In the next episode, during the meeting with Rhaenyra, Corlys will also say that the Hightowers are marching. We must crush this beast at its head. The Hightowers are marching in Episode 7, as it will also be told to Aemond at the Small Council. And on top of that, Aemond's younger brother Daeron is flying with them on top of his dragon Tessarion. We have finally heard about Daeron in this season, and now Daeron is finally starting to play his role in the war. The first we heard about Daeron was when Otto was dismissed from his position as Hand, and he revealed his plan to return to Old Town to join Daeron, promising Alicent that Daeron will assist the Greens in the weeks to come, and he finally will. Then at a meeting of the Green Council, Lord Wilde counseled King Aegon to unleash Daeron and his dragon Tessarion from Old Town in order to bring the Riverlands to heel. In the last episode, before leaving with Sir Criston to the Riverlands, Sir Gwaine Hightower is asked by Alicent how her son is doing. Gwaine describes Daeron as a stalwart and clever 16-year-old, who is adept at playing the lute as well as wielding a sword. He assures Alicent that Daeron is kind in contrast to her other kids. And now finally in episode 7 we hear at Aemon's small council that Daeron flies with his dragon Tessarion with the Hightower army. An unstoppable combination. Daeron will in the future win many battles, earning him the nickname Daeron the Daring. As it is in the book, Daeron is also accompanying the Hightower's army that's marching from Old Town. And in season 3, during the Battle of the Honeywine, the Hightower army will face defeat until Daeron arrives on Tessarion, saving his family and his army. For this act, Daeron will be feasted by the Hightowers, who knight him with the Valyrian sword Vigilance, dubbing the young prince Daeron the Daring. Daeron's dragon Tessarion, known as the Blue Queen, is a beautiful blue she-dragon. Her wings are dark cobalt, while her claws, crest and belly scales are the color of bright and beaten copper. After Rhaenyra takes King's Landing in episode 8, Daeron will be considered one of the greatest threats to her rule. But let's get back to episode 7. Besides hearing about Daeron, we also get to see Daeron in quick dreamlike sequence that Alicent will have while trying to drown herself. After having a conflict with Aemond over his actions, and after being expelled from having any influence on the green side, Alicent will go for a cathartic swim in a lake in the Kingswood. Alicent will have several dreamlike sequences where her past decisions haunt her, especially what happened with Aegon. Alicent also dreams about Daeron, who will be shown to look more like a Hightower than a Targaryen, as he doesn't have silver hair, something Alicent taunted Rhaenyra and her bastard kids for during the entire season 1. In episode 7, when she tries to drown herself, Alicent has a vision of all her children, and there's a small glimpse of Daeron who looks like a Hightower, not like a Targaryen. This is a big change from the books, as in there Daeron is described as having the coloring of the blood of the dragon, or in other words, silver hair. At Harrenhal, Daemon will execute Willem Blackwood for his crimes against House Bracken to gain the support of the riverlords. First, Oscar Tully will arrive at Harrenhal with his forces, and he will have a meeting with Daemon, where he will tell to Daemon, "It does seem to me that you made rather a mess here." Daemon will reply with, "Whose side are you on?" Daemon's and Tully's first meeting a few episodes back did not go the best, to say the least, in which Daemon asked Oscar to speed forward his grandsire's death, which Oscar of course refused, as it's not their way. After all, House Tully's words are family, duty, honor. But in this second meeting, Oscar will pledge his support to Daemon. Other riverlords will also arrive at Harrenhal with their armies. Outside of Harrenhal, in front of the Weirwood tree, Daemon comes to meet other riverlords after his meeting with Oscar Tully, the new Lord of Riverrun and Lord Paramount of the Riverlands, and Daemon holds his hand on Oscar's shoulder, so we know Oscar pledged allegiance to Daemon and Rhaenyra. However, other riverlords are not yet happy with Daemon, and they proclaim the old ways call for justice, asking for Daemon to deliver them justice and punish Willem Blackwood, who recently did some atrocities in the Riverlands. Daemon fulfills the riverlord's wish and punishes Willem Blackwood by executing him in front of the Weirwood tree, gaining the allegiance of all the riverlords. After that, Daemon will survey his army at Harrenhal, which will consist of men from the houses Derry, Mooten, Mallister, Piper, Vance, Bracken, Blackwood, and Strong. Meanwhile, at Dragonstone, motivated by Addam claiming Seasmoke, Rhaenyra will continue to search for more dragon riders to claim other riderless dragons. Rhaenyra will allow anyone who wishes to try to claim a dragon to do so, no matter if they have noble blood or if they are small folk. In episode 7, we'll see hundreds or even thousands of people coming to Dragonstone to try and claim a dragon. Rhaenyra lets small folk try to claim dragons on Mysaria's advice, which is disapproved by Jacaerys, who says House Targaryen is the blood of the dragon. If any may lay claim to it, what are we then? Next we will see Rhaenyra saying thousands will die, but with these dragons peace will be restored, as she introduces the dragon seeds to Vermithor and leaves them with the dragon, who we can see here in the background, and she will watch from safety as one by one try to claim the dragon, and one by one they die until the dragon bends his neck to Hugh. Ulf will also claim Silverwing in this episode. We'll have another character claiming a dragon. Rhaena, who will be on her way to a ship that would take them to Pentos, will see Sheepstealer, and instead of going to Pentos with Rhaenyra's sons, she will go after Sheepstealer and claim the wild dragon. In episode 7, Tyland Lannister will meet with the Triarchy, where he wrestles with them, but eventually gains their allegiance since they hate the Sea Snake and Daemon. The Triarchy is an alliance of the free cities of Myr, Lys, and Tyrosh. We saw them fighting against Daemon and Corlys at the Stepstones. They will ally themselves with the Greens and sail towards the Gullet with 90 warships. That's all the scenes we know are going to happen in episode 7, accompanied by many leaked pieces of information we have. Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section down below. For free, you can now listen to the entire audiobook Fire and Blood, on which House of the Dragon is based and which covers the entire Targaryen history, including current and future events of House of the Dragon, for free with a notable trial using our link in the description. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.